welcome to another exciting episode of One More Glass of Wine, our informative, incredibly interesting podcast where we are getting to know and learn about the wine industry from professionals in the wine industry. I'm Jeremy Marskolk, your host, and today I'm joined by Waterford's very own marketing manager, Anrike van der Walt. Anrike, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
It's lovely to have you on the podcast. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've worked in the magazine industry for 9 years. Started at Care magazine. Can you believe it? Oh, it was such great times.
Yeah.
And then for the past years, I've basically specialized in digital marketing and worked for various corporate companies.
Okay, yeah, digital marketing is pretty much like the buzzword when it comes to marketing these days. You have to have an online presence, regardless of the industry. It's incredibly important.
Very, very important.
Yeah, that's amazing. What a journey as well. Hey?
Yeah.
Great experience. We are very lucky to have you, just by the way.
Thank you.
I am learning a lot from you working with you.
It's a pleasure working with you, Jeremy.
Oh, thank you. Fishing for compliments here. So building a brand, learning about wine and everything obviously starts with a good product. So what I want to point you to is this lovely bottle of Chardonnay that we've got here.
My favorite.
Your favorite. How's the wine knowledge coming along?
It's coming along well. I'm really enjoying it. I think the best part for me was in harvest time. I just couldn't wait getting to work and just seeing all the happenings. Oh, no, it was absolutely amazing.
When it comes to wine, all you got to do is just drink more wine, I must tell you. On a previous podcast, for those listeners who are consistent with us, we had Heidi Duminy on, who is a Cape Wine Academy principal. She's a Cape Wine Master. Her podcast, her ability to taste wine is incredible. So hopefully we'll get you there one day.
I am definitely going to join.
Hey,
definitely got to start the beginner's class.
No, she said that you start learning how to blind taste even from their certificate course. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. So cheers, thank you for joining us for starters. So it's nice to have a glass of wine in hand, especially on this One More Glass of Wine podcast.
Lovely.
I see why you like the Chardonnay. It's a brilliant wine. Just a touch of that little richness, a little bit of butteriness, but quite nice and fresh, really fruit forward.
Yeah,
I'm loving the age of this vineyard, the minerality that's coming through.
Definitely minerality because of our unique Stellenbosch terroir.
100%.
Just love that acidity coming through.
Oh yeah. Look at you already. But it's been 6, 7, 8 months now in the wine industry, picking it up very quickly. Brilliant.
Trying.
Very, very good. Okay, so let's jump onto the topic today. Today we're going to be talking about marketing, and marketing in particular in the wine industry. So something incredibly important, your brand perception, all these aspects of building a long-lasting, strong brand are incredibly important. So something we're going to touch on today, and in particular, obviously, surrounding the wine industry.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to marketing, let's break it down. What's the pinnacle points that we need to be focusing on?
Planning is definitely everything. Consistency is everything. But before starting with all of that, first decide what is the brand's purpose. So a lot of companies, a lot of wineries, they basically just see creative videos, creative photos, and they just start posting. But it's very important to do the social media planner. It's very important to work way in advance, even months in advance. And just to get back to brand purpose, first decide what your brand purpose is. So ask the question. So for instance, what makes your winery different than others? What is meaningful about your brand? Ask a question like, what positive impact is your brand making towards society? So for instance, you could maybe mention things like how does your brand connect people through the joy of wine, and is the brand maybe a leader in sustainability? Maybe that's your brand's purpose, or maybe one of the factors. And also, does your brand maybe want to be a pioneer? Maybe wants to kind of be very innovative and use different wine making techniques and display that to the international wine industry, things like that. So you need to first decide the brand purpose. That's where we start. So basically, at the moment, I've listed a few things.
All right. Take us through the list.
Yes, I'll take you through the list. So basically, currently how your wineries communicate are through traditional marketing efforts. So it's basically through the wine tastings in the TR room. It's your wine events. It's your wine clubs and subscriptions. It's your DTC sales by using your online store or through the tasting room. It's your wine dinners and pairing experiences. It's your wine through wine tourism. It's giving wine tours and experiences, like we have our Wine Drive Safari and our Porcupine Wine Drive. It's basically partnering with your retail stores and restaurants, etc., and then participating in wine awards and reviews, and then also print advertising, and also using media like radio. And then obviously the standard social media, where the media is more like a wallpaper of what the winery is, but what they miss are a few important factors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a very traditional marketing channel, communication channels that
very
people
standard,
are making use.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is crucial.
Oh, yes,
Very
it's
crucial.
a backbone of everything.
That's exactly it. But what's very important is that we're now in the digital era. So you can't be left behind. You need to implement digital strategies as well. Especially utilizing certain apps, etc., and also make sure that you're actually utilizing it correctly. Because if you don't, and a lot of people come to me and they say, Anrike, I've done everything, but I still stay on 0 followers. And it's been I've done
all this effort, no reward.
No reward, exactly. I've done amazing videography. I've done amazing photos, but no followers, no reach, no nothing. What's happening? And that's because you need to do research. You need to understand how to use these apps, how to utilize them. Yeah, exactly. So.
Okay. I quite like how you say research is so important. I mean, you can't go into anything in this world without having a little bit of information, a little bit of knowledge on how you're going to get there, where you're going, and what's the point of your being, your purpose, like you were talking about.
Exactly.
Incredibly important.
I would suggest go onto Udemy and do courses.
Okay.
And then you can watch YouTube videos. That's all for free. Go on LinkedIn and see what courses are available. But you absolutely can't just carry on and assume that's how things are still working.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm happy to give you some tips, or the wineries out there some tip pointers.
Yes, no, please. We'd love a little bit of guidance here. I think that's everyone would really appreciate it. I think you look at a lot of marketing in the wine industry, and those traditional channels, they do work. We're chugging along.
Absolutely.
But I think we need something that's going to kick us into overdrive and make the South African wine industry compete internationally, not only in quality of wine, but in a marketing sense, in a business sense, and all these things. So
Exactly. Okay, cool.
Give us a little tip.
These are just a few. Apparently, I just have a short time cap here. So
I wouldn't cap you. You can talk as long as you like.
Oh, thank you. So basically, as I said, we're in the digital era, and if wineries are not yet using email marketing, they should start implementing it. And if they're not yet, if they have not yet implemented an e-commerce website like Shopify, they should definitely do it, because it's specifically for online transactions.
Okay.
And not just that, e-commerce websites pull through to your marketing AI tools like Klaviyo, MailChimp, HubSpot, etc. Your HubSpot is like your CRM management programs. All of those are crucial, because basically just using social media, where are all these people going to? Where are all these profiles? You're making these connections, but where are they going to? So you need to create a database. We're making use of Klaviyo, so we have our profiles, and obviously we do follow the correct regulations and rules, where we first ask them would they like to join or sign up.
Acts, of course.
That's it. So all of that, obviously you do and are usually included into the app's terms and conditions. But it's very important to use email marketing, because a lot of wineries gain customers, but there's no consistency. They they don't keep them necessarily.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So they need to nurture their customers.
Okay.
And that's where it's quite great to make use of, say, of Shopify, which would immediately pull through any profiles or any contact details through to your data list, which is in your marketing AI tool. And then basically you can send out emailers from there, connect them to a flow, which would be your typical welcome email, and maybe give them a discount of 15% discount that we've done. Follow that up with information about the winery. They want to know the people.
Okay.
They want to know what makes that specific winery so different.
All right.
And
It's like
then
starting a conversation with them
starting that
as
conversation,
well.
and not very important. Don't just start selling. Don't just start selling. Don't do the push strategy. Do the pull strategy. Slowly pull in your customer, and that's why make use of inbound marketing, which is your storytelling. Tell stories about the winemaking process, tell stories about the viticulture, tell stories about even the staff, etc. People want to get to know the people behind the brand.
They can build a connection with the brand through those conversations.
No, absolutely. And that's why it's very important to also focus on the winemaker's personal brand, because he makes the wine or she makes the wine. Getting to know the winemaker, it builds credibility and it builds trust. Things like your campaigns. These days, you need to align your brand with other high-end brands.
Okay.
So recently, you've done, and congrats, Jeremy, you've done a brilliant campaign with the joinery, for instance, and they have eco-friendly products. And by that, you're aligning your brand, but not just that, you're reaching a new audience, which is so important, because sometimes you just have your certain followers, and if it's not through paid ads, you won't necessarily be inclined to broaden or reach a new audience. At the end of the day, you are not selling, you're telling. You're telling a story.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing as well a little bit through this is also to not be afraid of technology and these apps, and to go and learn a new system and see how you can implement it. And more often than not, if you're using the correct one, it's going to lead to you telling better stories, being able to nurture your clientele a lot better in a more effective manner, rather. And that'll obviously stand you better into the future. So don't be afraid of technology.
Exactly.
Is one of the next things.
You can't actually be afraid of technology.
No, not in the digital era, for sure, yes.
Need to use it to your advantage. So on that, regarding technology, I thought, when I needed to prepare for this podcast, I thought, you know what, I actually just want to share some apps that the marketers or social media specialists, etc., salespeople can use in the wineries.
Okay, very cool.
So what I find quite helpful is obviously everyone knows Canva and Adobe Express, and then to do your photos and your videos, and Adobe Rush as well. But some app that is quite amazing. It is, and I mean, we're now in the AI
era. Yes.
Yeah, basically jumped to the AI era. So I can't even say we're in the digital era anymore. It's now AI.
AI era, yeah.
So basically, it's called midjourney.com.
Okay.
And what's so amazing about this app is you literally tell it what it needs to create or design. So you can say, please take a winery photo. So say a photo of Cabernet Sauvignon on a brown, say on a wooden table with a lovely dark background, have a bit of shadow on it, and I would like the following wording to go on it. And here's my logo, please place it on. And then suddenly, you can specify the size, everything, and then it creates you a design.
Stunning.
And it's exactly the same with video. You can ask it to do edits. You can ask it to create this video for you, which is scary.
Yeah,
which is very scary, but it's also very helpful. And that also one app that is quite nice. It's called Chat GPT. And
I think a lot of people are aware of ChatGPT.
yes, exactly.
Swept the world by storm, yeah.
Goodness. And it's scary
Oh,
because
yeah.
you've studied so hard in journalism or, getting your master's degree in English. And suddenly you get
GPT.
exactly, who basically corrects your English and your grammar. And it rewrites your social media content. You can literally write something and say, please improve on this text, or not write anything and say, I would like a post on Cabernet Sauvignon, Waterford Estate. Please include tasting notes. Please
Oh,
include
wow.
hashtags, and it actually includes the necessary hashtags
Wow.
that you need for exposure.
It's actually quite scary.
No, it's very scary.
Very
So,
scary. Impressive, but yeah.
but very scary.
Scary.
And the thing is, people are using it now. People are enjoying it, and it saves a lot of time
For sure.
and effort. And I think a lot of content that I see are very limited or very repetitive.
For sure.
And content, again, needs to be about storytelling. It needs to be informative, educational, or, it needs to be innovative or sharp. You need to grab people's attention. Like the first
Yes.
liner really needs to grab
It all
people's
matters.
attention. And also what I see also wineries need to do is, don't forget to, in a very subtle way, add that call to action. People don't respond to any post if there's not a call to action. It's the weirdest thing. We are so used to having call to actions in everything that we read. Click on this post, see the link in the bio,
Yeah.
don't miss out. I know you don't necessarily want to use those words, but make it creative. Like,
Yeah.
don't miss out on this
Okay.
amazing opportunity,
Opportunity,
or or tick it off from your bucket list or something like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
So also get creative with your calls to action. I think
Yes,
that's
exactly.
that's incredibly
Yeah.
important.
You don't want it to sound too salesy
Okay.
as well. So you really need to be creative. So Chat GPT can help you with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So that's quite nice. And then something that I also wanted to mention is people make use of third-party tools when they schedule their posts.
Okay.
So we all know by now how important consistency is. The algorithm of each platform, okay, they have certain rules, but very important to post on certain times and on certain days.
Yes.
The algorithm loves that. It kind of then boosts your posts organically. So very important is consistency. So decide when you want to post. Don't spam. If it's a high-end brand, rather make sure that each and every post is amazing. Just absolutely amazing.
Quality content.
Quality content. And then what you then need to do is make use of the scheduling apps of the actual platforms. So for instance, with Facebook and Instagram, rather use Meta Business Suite than using Hootsuite or Buffer, for instance, because the actual platforms favor those, favor their own internal app, schedule app. So that's also something to keep in mind. Then when it comes to Instagram, remember to make it user-friendly for people to click on the links. There's no links in the actual copy.
Yes.
So have a link tree or something similar, and where people can then click and go and do bookings, etc.
Yes.
That's an app that's quite nice. That's the Linktree app. And then also, just one thing that I also just wanted to mention is, now that we're on posting, is people or social media managers, what they usually do is they do cross-posting via these third party apps. It's not necessarily a great thing. If it does do cross-posting, say you now are going to take your pick and your copy and your hashtag and your scheduling, and you're asking it to post on Instagram, Facebook, etc., it usually posts incorrectly. Like you have all those hashtags in Instagram which you don't want,
Skip
or
lines and
skip
stuff.
lines and stuff like that. So don't do that. Plus, each platform has a unique target audience. So Linktree is, the mindset is all business. So they don't necessarily want to hear about certain topics. Amazing tool to build those those business alliances.
For
very,
sure.
very, very great to use. Instagram, great to use for your competitions and your campaigns, etc. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
brilliant. So I love how you said networking, and you touched on it a little bit earlier, and running campaigns and using like-minded, like business-orientated network and relationships to help with your marketing efforts and things like that. And I think that's incredibly important. And in the digital era and the AI era, as we're calling it, I think having the human touch is still incredibly important. And those relationships are what will foster really strong marketing campaigns and everything like that.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
People forget to check reviews. I know the restaurant industry is quite on top of it. But sometimes wineries just need to check their Google reviews. They need to check what's on TripAdvisor. They need to check what's on Facebook. They need to respond to comments, because every time you respond to a comment or like each and every post, your post gets boosted. Invite people to say special events, or to a wine, like an intimate wine tasting, because it's important to meet those key players in the industry, and key media players in the industry. Let them get to know you as a winery, but more importantly, the people behind the winery.
The wine, for sure.
So at the end of the day, yes, we have digital marketing, but still, it's important to have that human connection.
It's a very proactive mindset that you're talking about here. Is go to these events, go be a part of these things, go get ingrained in what your industry is and where it's going. So that you know, first you have a thumb point, I guess, on what other people are doing. You can create those relationships and those campaigns that we're talking about as well. Brilliant.
Exactly.
That's a lot of really good information in that.
That was just half of it.
Is that just half of it?
Yes. It's okay.
No, you're stacked full of information. Anrike, it is lovely to work here. I know I've worked here for 5 years. It's a beautiful environment. It has a specific lifestyle. How have you found that the Waterford lifestyle is changing your lifestyle or influencing your lifestyle?
Well, I've started drinking wine, which makes life very interesting.
Very much so, for sure.
I'm enjoying the different wine tastings, learning about wine and the winemaking process, etc. It's fascinating, but also working alongside people in the wine industry. That is just amazing. Passionate people. I can learn so much from them. And you know what? It's the first time that I had to do marketing for a wine industry, and it's just so. It's challenging, but in a very good way.
In an exciting way.
In an exciting way. Yeah. So I wake up in the morning and I think, I can't wait to get to work. What are they up to?
Yes.
What are we doing? Fermentation. What are we doing next? What's happening now?
And that's so exciting, hey?
So very, very exciting. Yeah,
that's really cool. I'm glad that there's a real positive influence going on.
Definitely. Yeah.
When it comes to the South African wine industry and in the marketing space, where would you like us to start moving towards? Obviously taking advantage of these apps and utilizing all these important factors. How do you see this propelling the South African wine industry into the international space? Bit of an obscure question.
Yeah, it's the thing is, I just think we need to start telling our story.
Okay.
And as wineries of South Africa, we need to stand together and we need to promote the South African wine industry. We really support each other, and that's why we're doing these podcasts, Jeremy, because it's a platform to basically invite your key players or your interesting people in the industry to educate other people and international people about SA wine specifically. So what we're doing now, podcast. It's an amazing tool to use. I just think that SA wine is still very in the sense of very new.
For sure.
And we have we're very innovative when it comes to our winemaking techniques, and we can be,
For sure.
which makes it so exciting. So I just think that we just need to educate people
Okay.
on SA wine.
Yes.
And again, make sure that our posts and what we communicate is educational and not only focused on the product. I think that's probably where most wineries also go wrong, if they only focus on their product, because that's just selling.
Yes.
Start with storytelling and also reach out to other wineries, etc. Support them.
Let's collaborate
Just
together. Let's
collaborate
build
together.
the South African wine
That's
industry
it.
together.
End of the day, we're just going to support each other.
Anrike, you have got a lot of experience. You've worked in many different industries. Now you're part of the wine industry, very new to the wine industry. How does the wine industry, from a marketing perspective, differ to what you've done in the past?
Well, let's start here. I've only worked for corporate companies.
Okay.
And mainly for corporate companies, and suddenly working at a wine estate. Oh my goodness. It is
The views are a little bit prettier as well.
Absolutely picturesque, and it's such a lovely lifestyle. Really enjoy it. And when it comes to marketing, it's quite different.
Okay.
It's like I said, it's about the people. It's about the winemaking. It's not necessarily to sell a product or those very hardcore marketing strategies and that you need to implement. It's you need to be very clever of how you utilize your marketing efforts. But it has been a very exciting challenge to me.
Wonderful. You say your creativity has been enriched almost. Do you feel like you have to be more creative?
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Yes. So
marketing a timeless brand, something like the gem that's built for longevity, patience, all these things, in a world that is fixated on instant gratification. How do you get that right?
Well, Waterford Estate is a luxury high-end brand. So the people that are interested in our product are people that they buy into the lifestyle. Okay. They would understand or would want to have the gem because it's quality.
Yes.
And they're prepared to pay for quality. I don't know how else to say that. I think you'd have a different way of explaining that.
I think that I really enjoy how you said it's a buy-in almost. It's you're not purchasing a bottle of wine, you're purchasing a bit of a lifestyle almost. Something that the gem you can age for 25 years. It's not necessarily to drink now. You purchase it to go on a journey with it, to wait till you get to a point where you're sharing it with someone or anyone really that you hold dear to yourself, someone that you want to share the experience of the wine. It's enriching not only in, the relationship that you're building, but enriching in the product because it's going to be aging and maturing over time. So
absolutely,
it's not a wine to pop open right now. So I don't think it satiates the instant gratification need. But I think you have to be patient with a product like that.
And the thing is, it's fine wine, and there's a reason why we're saying it's a timeless brand. Meaningly, we don't necessarily follow, the craze and
yes.
The instant gratification. You don't follow the
trends or the challenges that you see, like TikTok trends.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's I think the best way to do it is what you've been talking about this whole time, is that inbound marketing. It's stories. We need to tell that story of, who you're going to be drinking this wine with in 25 years. And that's what you're going to get people's buy-in to purchase that bottle of wine, to save it for that special moment, for that birthday, for that graduation or something like that. And that's the purpose of that particular, campaign or strategy when it comes to the inbound marketing side of things.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Anrike, a lot of brands, young brands, maybe even more established, older brands, they are very focused on creating the product, focusing on on creating the perfect wine. Let's say we're talking about wine here, and a lot of them maybe don't focus on finding the audience that resonates with that product or that brand, being that purpose that you've been talking about. How is there a disconnect between that, and how do we fix that disconnect?
That's such a brilliant question. Define your buyer's persona, your target audience, in detail. And basically, when you start doing your marketing strategy, start with your target audience and do research. What are their behaviors? Make sure that you either align with certain brands, which your target audience also identifies with, or make sure that when you do your paid ads, that you include the different behaviors, focusing on detail, like, for instance, your different angles, the type of photography or videography you're using.
And the quality of it as well.
The quality of it. Those will speak to, all those qualities will speak to the right target market.
It's a can be a very technical answer as well. So there's a lot to unpack when it comes to target audience and segmenting them and figuring out how they're going. But essentially where I like what you said is you start from them, from your target audience. Who are you going to be going to? And then you figure out your channels to get to them in the best possible way.
Very interesting about when it comes to wineries is that, for instance, your rosé is more focused on, celebration. And if you look at the tier in which it falls in, what is your target market then for the rosé? But it still needs to fall into the main target market for the brand, but still you are going to change your content to be more focused on your rosé kind of target market.
Or your Chardonnay target market.
Or your Chardonnay, exactly. So the gem would be a bit different.
Yes.
Than your rosé, for instance.
So what you're also saying is that one strategy won't make a successful brand. You need to continually innovate and realize who you're marketing to and how you're marketing to them.
Exactly.
It's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
The human touch, the packaging, the rest of it is also incredibly important. The tasting room, when it comes to the wine industry, your service that you're offering, we're not living in the metaverse necessarily when it comes to this winery. We're selling something that's physical. How important is it to have these finer details looked after, from the experience to the packaging to the bottle to the physical product, when it comes to a full cohesive brand?
Exceptionally important. The thing is, we basically market the product and the experiences, all of that, digitally. But at the end of the day, it's to get people to our winery, or to get people to buy the product, to have it in their hands physically. And hopefully we've been telling that story so well that when they hold that bottle of wine, they will think of that post which had the vineyard and told a bit about Waterford Estate and the farm, and they would kind of have that sense of place and understand what the wine is about.
For sure.
If they're not able to visit the winery, and if they actually do come to the winery, that the guest experience is absolutely crucial. Attention to detail, but also when it comes to the physical product, the labeling, the packaging, all of that needs to be on brand. It needs to portray the timeless brand, the high-end brand.
Yes, the finesse.
It needs to be absolutely be worth it. Definitely.
I agree. And it's even comes down to the attention to detail in the gem, the box it's presented in, the ribbon that changes with each vintage, even the paper wrapping that goes around each bottle. It's that finer touch that gives you that edge. And when people hold it, you feel like you're holding a quality product. There's a reason you've invested your time to learn about it and taken the cost on to get your hands on it as well.
Yeah, and it's also word of mouth marketing.
For sure.
people that have this amazing experience and they tell their friends, and you know what I mean? That's quite a great feeling. I mean, Jeremy, it's so great to have good reviews.
Oh, for sure.
And just to know that people had such a wonderful experience. And that's why we do so much research in making our experiences so, amazing, in the sense of it really needs to be different, and it really needs to be worth the while of the guest coming to attend these tastings. It needs to be memorable. That's it. It needs to be memorable. So if it's a wine tasting, it can be our safari wine drive, our porcupine walk, or, our wine and chocolate tasting. Attention to detail is so important.
Yes, yeah. We need people leaving with that sense of, wow, I've just been given so much information, so much knowledge, or I've seen something I've never seen before, experienced something new. Such an important part of the whole machine that carries on turning,
That's it. And the thing is, what's sad is a lot of companies sometimes are amazing in digital marketing. Say, for instance, a clothing brand, and you think, goodness, I am going to order from these guys.
Yes.
And then when you hold this product, it's terrible quality.
Horrible quality material.
You know what I mean? So,
for sure. Yeah, we need to make sure that everything is cohesive, especially in building a timeless brand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When it comes to a product, at the end of the day, when the client goes home, people open, say we're talking about wine here, we open the bottle of wine, you taste it in your own personal space, in your own capacity, and it doesn't live up to that marketing material. They were promised something and then they were let down. You've lost that customer for life. So it's incredibly important to make sure that whatever you are putting out there resonates with the client when they're in the comfort of their own home, when they're making use of the product. So I think a really high quality, really well made bottle of wine lives up to the hype that we're trying to bestow into it. So something that's really important.
And that also, when they actually do come to the winery and do our experiences and come to the tasting room, the exact same principle.
Yes, yeah. They need to leave here going, wow, that was one of the best experiences that I've ever had when it comes to wine. They weren't lying to me, essentially. So, yeah, I think that's a really important part of the whole machine of winery.
Absolutely agree.
But thank you so much for joining us on the podcast, Anrike. You're a wealth of knowledge. We're going to have to get you on here again. I'm going to have to twist your arm and make you come join me again for another sitting. But thank you so much for joining us.
I'd love to join again. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you for joining us and for sharing your information.